Good morning, everybody. Let us start our class today. And if we go to our schedule space, that you will see you will have two quizzes due by this in this weekend. Quizzes 1, I have extended it until this weekend, and you have also your quiz 2 that is also due by this weekend. All quizzes are due by midnight, but please do not wait for your last minute. Okay, so and according to our schedule, today we will discuss variable assignment, data type, and input-output operations. Okay, so if we go to our resources page and go to slide repository, and this is module 2 we will discuss. So if I download my module 2 slide, okay, so this is about variable assignments and data types. So I have already discussed something about variable and its assignments and data type in our previous lectures. So we already know how to declare a variable. A variable is a name of a chunk of a memory location. For instance, by the word memory, I mean, a computer system has RAM and random access memory. For this memory space, there are a lot of bytes. Each of these, for instance, a bytes. Okay, each of these is a bytes, and each byte has 8. So each of these bytes has its own memory address, long address. Like every house in this city has a number, house number 201, 202, 203, 4, 5, something like this. Okay. For instance, some of these houses, okay, have a different name. For instance, someone is a White House, White Palace, someone is Greenhouse, another is Green Palace, or something like this. Okay. So for instance, if this house, for instance, this is a house, it has already its name, number, for instance, 101 Newton square, right? Okay, this is his address, 101. And if I give a name, for instance, White Palace. So if it is a popular place, then people will know this name, this house by two ways. Okay, by its name, White Palace, or by its number, its physical address. So as a human being, it is easier for us to go to a place by its address, physical address. Okay, but as compared to computer, it is also convenient for a computer to go to in a memory place by its physical address. But for a human being, it is difficult for us to memorize or remember that address of that physical place. For instance, if you have 1,000 or 100 or 1,000 friends in your friend list, in your contact list in your phone, it will be difficult for you to remember all of your friends' number. Why? What do? We save our friends' number against their names, or something we are. When you make a phone call, our phone call goes to that number, not that name. Similarly, what in order to access our memory efficiently, we if we give this place name, this address name x, so whatever value we put, for instance x equal to, if you say x equal to 5, then this 5 is converted binary internally with a bunch of, for instance 0 and 1. For instance the 5 will be converted with 0 0 0 0 and 0 101, 8 bit, 8 bit, a byte, right? 5 is converted like this. And finally this 0 0 0 0 0 101 is stored in computer memory location. But since it is difficult for us to remember this memory location, we use alternative way to declare a variable by declaring a variable. To access this memory location or this data, to access content of this memory location. What is the content of this memory location? Is binary number 1 5, right? So this is how we retrieve data from a memory location, and it is easier than declaration of a variable as easier programming easily to store data in a memory location and retrieve data from this memory location. But these are temporary memory location, random access memory. So these assignments goes away when we close our program or when we terminate our application. These are temporary location, okay? So according to data type, some variables, some data type takes 1 byte memory space, some takes 4 bytes, some takes 8 bytes. In general, an integer type takes 4 byte memory space in in Java and C#, but in C++ it takes 2 bytes. There is a little bit variation. There are, okay, so we'll go through this. We already discussed this. So this tells about how to make a comment on a line. So in C++ and C# we use then forward slash, then star, and until we end with another star and forward slash, everything in between becomes commented out. These are not considered while compiling our program. Yeah, line comment is like at least 2 forward slash. We will show this in a live program. So an identifier is a name of a variable or a method or class or an object, something. Okay, so we will discuss identifier in a live program also. Let me see quickly. All programming languages have some keywords. Keywords are the fundamental words that are defined within the program. Okay, so when we declare an identifier or a variable or a class, we will avoid this identifier. We cannot use this identifier as a name of our variable. For instance, if we have a newborn baby, we can give any name, right? But not any name, right? It depends. There are some restriction. Depends on our culture, on our tradition, something, or for instance, in our nationality or something, right? We can choose any name of our baby, but not. Understand? There are some restrictions we follow, right? Something like this. All keywords are written in lowercase. So it is okay that if you give an identifier name, something like exactly of a keyword, but with an uppercase number, that might work, but that is not a good way. So we will avoid yours. You do not need to memorize this for now, but by the time we finish this course or we go ahead, you will be familiar with this. So far, you are familiar with some of these. For instance, void. For instance, int, int, boolean. We will know all of this. These are the C# keywords, and these are the C++ keywords. Some keywords in C++ have underscore within. But people who are taking C++ lab should give special attention on this, because in C++, these are, you see that there are some unfamiliar keywords. In all programming languages, void space are essential. Void space, okay, usually, or blank space are ignored while compiling this program. But sometimes these are essential, are needed. So all keywords have a blank space before and after. In order to use a keyword or an identifier, you have to give a blank space before that and after that keyword. Okay, this is called a character string. When a group of characters are enclosed within a double quote or sometimes in single quote, that is called a string. Okay, but sometimes when something, if you see something quoted within single quote, character. So within a single quote, you can keep at least at only one character. Double quote, you can keep as even your entire page you can put. We will discuss, this is called string. We will discuss about string later in detail. So here the entire thing is a string, whatever we in double quotation. We discussed something about a string, something about string in our last few classes. This is in C# format. In Java, we use system.out.println, but in C# we use console.writeline. And in C++, we use cout, then the two less than sign. Okay, so sometime in C++, in C# and Java and Python, other modern programming languages, but maybe not in C++, we can use plus operator to concatenate not add to string. Like concatenation looks more likely as an addition operation, but this is not addition, this is called concatenation. Okay, the concatenation, if I say hello, then plus space, then plus there, then it will print hello there with some space. So this plus sign, so using this plus sign in string operation has made our programming a bit easier. I learned first object programming with Fortran, then QBasic, then C, then C++. C and C++ did not have this plus operator. To access the plus operator did not have power of this plus operator to add to string. Then at that time it was very difficult to add to strings. We had to use other method. Now life becomes easier. that when maybe I will show you in a live program. If you concatenate something, if it start with a string, then everything after that becomes a string. That is the power of a string object. When you start with a string, something, then whatever you add, number or another string or another number, everything becomes, the result becomes a string. For string only, this is for only string. Remember this special characteristics of a string. The same program is C Java. Previously this was Java, and this is C#, and this will be in C++. So everybody has access to this slide. So take this code and run it quickly on repl.it or in your favorite IDE. For C++ and C#, we will use Visual Studio. We recommend you to install Visual Studio. But for Java, we recommend you to use Eclipse or NetBeans. Okay, so these are the backslash characters. There are some characters that do not display exactly as is. So those characters are needed to display with special characters, the backslash. These are called backslash characters. I discussed something about backslash character in one of our lectures, then I will go through this again. So you see that advantage of using backslash character, for instance, it has backslash n and again backslash t. Backslash t makes one tab. You see that sometimes the output is one tab far. So this is the effect of backslash t, and backslash n makes a new line. So although if we write here all in walls one sentence or one string, but our output gets in multiple lines. This is the effect of backslash n character. And same thing in C# and C++. So in C++, we use, people who are taking C++, give attention here. We use two less than sign. It is called output, cout. It is used with cout keyword to output something, more similar with println or write C#. Okay, so concatenate to strings as well. Okay, again this comes with variable. A variable is a name of memory location. Okay, so we will go through this. So declaring a variable in pseudocode has its special format. You see that there is a class, the piano keys. This is the, for instance, this is the name of this class. So a class name is okay. So by default is when you say class and then name, it is considered that this class is declared by this name. But here you see the begin. Pseudocode start with a begin and it has an end with the class name. You see that begin does not have anything after it. Okay, but the end has something. You see that it says end main. That means this is the ending point of our main method. And it says end piano keys. This is the ending point of my class piano keys. So if you write pseudocode in your test, be careful that you have to complete this code. But writing pseudocode, I do not like personally. I told you that we will need pseudocode in order to implement, in order to write our algorithm. As soon as we understand a pseudocode or an algorithm, we will avoid this. So whatever I'm telling is ambiguous, right? Maybe confusing, right? For instance, we know we use a GPS in order to drive somewhere, right? But as soon as we become familiar with that destination, we no longer use GPS, right? That is our concept. We use GPS for the first time or few times to drive to a new place, but as soon as we become familiar to that place, GPS. Same thing. We will use pseudocode in order to understand our problem, but as soon as we understand our problem, we like to avoid pseudocode. We like to go to program code directly. Our goal is to learn programming, right? From where we will be starting? We will be starting from algorithm or pseudocode. But our goal is to I'm going to all of the slides first, then we will go to a live program to discuss. So this is something. So this is a class. Actually, we are not going to discuss class anymore at this time. So maybe after a month, when we understand the program structure, go to second or third half, last quarter of this class, we will discuss about class in detail. This is in C# and this is in C++. Okay, so the naming convention. Okay, this is an important thing if you want to be a skillful programmer. Okay, naming convention, that means we will give a name for our class, our method, our variable, or our any identifier. But our name should be meaningful. It should be consistent to our problem and our program. For instance, if we have a new baby, boy baby, we should give a name of a boy name, right? If we have a baby girl, we should give her a female name. But it is okay if we give a male name to a male or a female name to a male. There is maybe no, there is nothing legal problem, but in social and ethical problems right there, right? So we will follow some naming convention in order to give a name of a variable. Sometimes we use camel case. You know, camel case is called the way total. For instance, by general, all variables are declared with or lowercase, starting with a lowercase letter. But sometimes if I say, for instance, if I want to say subtotal, okay, subtotal. For instance, this is my subtotal variable. I want to say. So you see that there are two words. I want to mean subtotal, but people may not understand it at the right way. But if I say sub underscore total, then it's easy to understand, right? For variable naming, you cannot use a dash sign. This is considered as a minus. So you cannot use dash sign, but you can use, if you want to make a space, or you cannot give a space in between. So what do we need to do? If you want to give a space, then what you can do, we can use is an underscore, or sometime this is a way, or sometime we use camel case. This is camel case. You see the S, first word will start with lowercase, and the second word will start with an uppercase. So then in order to, if I have another word, for instance AVG, like this is a convenient way. So every company, you will see every programming book or everywhere you will see there is a convention to name your variable or your identifier. So you have to follow your team or your company or your, and you should follow only one rule. Okay. Give your identifier name a good name that is meaningful. For instance, if you want to save a total, or if you want to save a maximum value, you should not use the variable name minimum. Okay, so the name will be inconsistent. Okay, same thing in one programming languages. C++, let me see how many. Okay, another thing. What is a variable? A variable, we saw that, we discussed that a variable is the name of a memory location that a value. That value is changeable. Okay, so during your program, okay, so a variable name is changes. Okay, so no, a variable name is fixed, but data in a variable changes. Whatever you put in the last time, it holds the last value. Okay, but sometime we may need to work with some persistent data, not persistent, it's called constant data, fixed data, that program or lifetime that will not be changed. For instance, our maiden name, right? If you consider that maiden name is unchanged, our father name, our mother name, mother's maiden name, or father name, these are unchanged. Security number is same for your whole lifetime. Okay, but for your age, it changes every year. Your weight, it may vary every week or every month or every year. So whatever we have some constant data, we declare a constant. A constant is declared more likely as a variable, but with some different. I will show you in a program, but the naming convention is that all constants are named with all uppercase number. That is the naming convention, so that people understand that this is a constant. So whenever you see in your program something all uppercase in a program or in application, then you will guess that this is declared somewhere as a constant. So the value of a constant does not change while the program is running. Okay, there are some ways variable. For instance, in Java, we use static and final keyword together in order to declare a static int final x equal to 5. Then 5 will be, you cannot change x value during your program time. We will show this maybe in a program that will be easier for us. Okay, for instance, over here, you see when it's in Java, you see the total rate, whatever you see that it is all in uppercase, then you will, this is a constant. Okay, the final keyword makes this constant. And in C#, there is a special keyword, it's called const, constant. Okay, and in C++, people give the special attention, please. We use underscore, what is that called? $define. And here the difference is that we do not use equal sign. But in C# and Java, we use equal sign, right? There is a minor difference between people who are taking C# and Java or C, especially C++ lab. Give attention here on this line, please. Usually, okay, constants are declared on the top of a program. Since these are not changeable, so these are declared at the top of a Okay, I have a few more slides. Let me go this quickly. Okay, and this is an important thing, data types. So data types depends on our data in hand. Sometimes we work only numeric data. Sometimes we may need to work with decimal data. Sometimes we need to work with alphanumeric data. Sometimes we need to work with Boolean data, that is true or false only. So based on our data in hand, there are several data types. There are maybe 8 simple data types. For instance, okay, for numeric data, there are 6 types. Okay, for numeric data, there are those are whole numbers, and another kind is number with decimal point, right? So for whole numbers, there are byte, 4 types for whole number: byte, int, short, and long. Okay, I would say byte, short, int, long. This way. This way is easier for us. Byte, short, int, long. Okay, all of these byte, short, int, and long for whole number. Working with whole number without any decimal point. So when you say byte, it takes 1 byte, that means 8 bits memory space. Okay, when you say short, then it takes 2 bytes memory space. When you say int, it takes 4 byte memory space. When you say long, it takes 8 byte memory space. So when you have 8 byte memory space, you can store very, very long data. For instance, how far a ray goes in 1 light year, or 5 light year, or 10 light years, or 100 light years. Very, very to work with very large or very small numbers. What is atom? Like this. Then we will use long data. And if you know that for byte, if there is limitation, byte has only 1 byte, and it takes number from negative 128 to positive 127. Okay, so 1 byte. For short, it takes, but long, it takes 4 byte. In general, if you know that your data number is very short, for instance, looping, you have to loop 1 time, 10 times, 20 times, then you can use byte or short time. You should use byte, but we in general use int type, because the program we will be discussing in our class, very small program, takes very small space in our memory. We don't care about our memory. But while developing a large program or a large application, okay, so you have to consider about your data type, your variable type. For instance, if you declare an integer type, what will happen? It will take 4 consecutive memory location. For an integer type, it will take 4 consecutive memory location. 2, 3, 4. Int x, then the first byte will be named as x. We say int x, and the first byte will be, it will take 4 consecutive memory bytes, and the first byte will be named as x, variable name. Okay, if you would say byte x, that it would take only 1 byte. If you would say short x, then it would take 2 bytes. If you would say long int, then it would take 8 bytes. Yes. No, integer 4 bytes. Yes, yet x is named as 4 byte. X is assigned to the first byte. Yeah, all extra byte is filled out with 0. All other bytes is filled out with 0. For instance, if you say x equal to 5, then 5 will be placed on the first place, and then all other upper place will be 0. For one night, or 2 nights, or multiple nights. If you want to stay alone, what you usually do? How many rooms you will book? 1. Okay, if you have enough money, then are you going to reserve four rooms? Okay, you can. If you can, then you will misuse your money, right? Even if it is your own money, if it is your own money, you will never. If it is your own money, you will never misuse your own money. But if it is someone else's money, consider, should I misuse this money? Because you cannot stay in 4 rooms at a time. Only in one bed you can sleep in, right? So this is while declaring our variable, we should consider about our memory space. So as if a program takes small memory space, it becomes faster. So, but in general, since in our small demo program, we will be working with small programs, so we don't care about integer type. It takes 4 bytes, fine. Yeah, but for large program, okay. So for instance, if you want to hold data for the entire population of the United States, social security number. So we know that social security number was so far nine digits, right? Or sometime it will be 10 digits. Okay. But this number, I think a double or integer should be fine. If you say is long, then we have some extra misuse space. Okay, there are 2 other types for numeric numbers that are called floating type or double type that are used to hold numeric data with decimal point. Okay, there is another type that is called character type that holds only one character. For instance, if I want to assign male by M, female by F, true by T, false by F, okay, then we can use character. Type is called Boolean type that gives the result yes, no, true, false. By yes we mean true, and by no we mean false. For only true and false result, Boolean. Okay. Anything else is other data types, complex data types. Sometimes we create a new data type with the combination of other previous data types. For instance, these are 8, 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. These 8 are simple data types. Sometimes we use, or we may need to create our own data type with the combination of these data types. Okay, that is called a class. Declaration of class or a structure. By the end of this course, we will discuss how to create our own data type. But for now, remember that these are called primitive data types or built-in data types. Built-in data types, so far we have learned 8, right? Okay, 4 of them for integer number, byte, short, int, long. 2 other for decimal numbers, numerical decimal numbers, short, double, and float. And character is used to hold only one character. And okay, Boolean is used to only true and false. There is another kind that is string, that is not actually a primitive data type but an important data type. String is a combination of a number of characters, okay, or numbers. alphanumeric characters. So that is held in within a double quote, and a string actually an object. String is another class defined as a class in our programming language. So we will string is an important, but string is not a primitive data type. Okay, it is a special kind of data type or a class. We will discuss this. Okay, so why we do need too many data types? Because we want to work with different kind of data. Okay. Okay, static versus dynamic data type. We will discuss this in a live program. Most of the programming languages, older or legacy programming languages, work with static data type. That means before you assign value to a variable, okay, you need to declare a variable with its type. There are some dynamic data type, some programming languages like Python that allow us to assign a variable without any data type. And it assigns data type according to the data it gets at the very first time. We will discuss this in a live program when we get our program. So let us see some example. Okay, so here integer is test grade. You will have assigned value 100. This is an integer type. It is a byte type. Okay, so is these are written. What is the tradition? Convention is called camel. Okay, and then city population. This is long type. If you so for long type, we need to use L at the end. Okay, for float type, you have to use F at the end. For double, you don't need to. You don't need to use F or D. Okay, but remember for these two, for float type, when we assign value, we have to give an F. And then in uppercase F or lowercase F. Okay. Okay, so this is the character types. It takes only one character within single quote. Okay, but when you put this character within double quote, that becomes a string, not a character. Okay, Boolean type. Okay, C++ and C# use BOOL, but Java it use Boolean, BOOLEN. Difference between these two? How many minutes I do have? None? 1 minute? Okay, so this is our last minute. So let us summarize whatever we have learned. So we learned today data types, variable, how to declare a variable, why do we need to declare a variable, what happens when we declare a variable, right? Declare a variable, it takes memory, some memory space. It get a name of a memory space, okay? All variables in general are volatile. This data volatile. So as soon as our program running, our variable holds data. As soon as you close our program, data goes away. Okay, so please take a look at your schedule, and there are 2 quizzes due. The regular quiz 2 is due by this weekend, but I have extended quiz 1 for you and given 1 more attempt. Okay, before you quiz, please study this lecture video. Okay, thank you so much. I will see you in next.
What's the 4 we need to insert the arcade?
I gave at the beginning.
YWY1.
Who on the board?
YW?
Y1.
So, quiz 2, that would be under, that was under, what parts of,
Let me see. I have not seen that.